Welcome to podcast number 184. Do you get so frustrated when dealing with emotional people? Are you at a loss for what to do? If so, let's see if we can confuse you even more today. Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome. Why in the world am I talking to you about emotional people here? Well, it comes up all the time, and who else is going to talk about it really? So we're going to address this today. Hey, one item to note, we've moved recording studios. There's a little bit more of an echo even with our sound absorption tiles. So we're working that out right now. So be a little bit patient with us today, please, with the audio quality. We're going to continue to refine this. We're simply expanding because we have a new little studio that also can be we can host live events, remote events like in-person, full-body shots, music, energy, wide view camera, the whole nine. And it's got green screen paint on the walls, and it's ready to go, and it's a jamming little studio. One of the things that happens when you do that is you have an entire wall on the back side that it becomes a green screen, and you can't put the sound absorption tiles back there, so it creates a little bit of an echo. So again, we're going to continue to play around with this and make sure that we get this dialed in for everybody. But today I'm excited. We're going to talk about how to deal with emotional people. So kind of funny, I'm going to give you the lyrics of a song first. And this is by Marshmallow and Halsey, and it's called Be Kind. So stay with me. If I can get this licensed, I'm gonna share this. I'll at least share the song link in the show notes, but here you go. So wanna believe that you don't have a bad bone in your body, but the bruises on your ego make you go wild, 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 yeah. Wanna believe that even when you're stone cold, you're sorry. Tell me why you gotta be so out of your mind, yeah. I know you're choking on your fears. Already told you I'm right here. I will stay by your side every night. I don't know why you hide from the one that you love and close your eyes to the one, mess up and lie to the one that you love. When you know you can cry to the one, always confide in the one. You can be kind to the one that you love. And so those are the last parts right there. Those are the key, meaning I know you're choking on your fears. Already told you I'm right here. I'll stay by your side. So then the song she is singing, I don't know why you hide, close your eyes, mess up and lie, when you know that you can cry to, confide in, and be kind to the one that you need. And so then she goes on to say, I know you need the upper hand, even when we aren't fighting, because in the past you had to prepare every time. Don't want to leave, but if you're going to fight, then do it for me. I know you're built to love, but broken now you just try, yeah. I know you're choking on your fears, already told you I'm right here. And then she continues to say, I'll stay by your side every night. I don't know why you hide. And then it goes on, close your eyes to the one, mess up and lie to the one that you love. When you know you can cry to the one, confide in the one, and be kind to the one that you love. And so then she closes out by saying, and this is Halsey, where does she, okay, it says, dang it, I lost my spot. Oh, no, here it goes. I'm going sick in the head trying to get you there. And I know it's hard for you, but it's not fair. I don't know why you hide from the one, close your eyes to the one, mess up and lie to the one, when you can confide in, be kind to, and cry to, and always confide in the one that you love. And so this song is really cool. Again, pending some licensing here, I want to add this in. I really strongly recommend that you listen to this song because it's perfect, especially if you have an emotional person in your life. These are great words. And so the message here is that because of fear, people go crazy instead of doing the things that they want to do with the people that they love. And they're really sick in the head. And I can speak with authority on this topic because I'm a little bit sick in the head, or up until now I have been, or in the past I have been. So let's get on. Let's do it. So I've got a couple things before we get into the podcast. Let's first talk about feedback from listeners. So here's one person that said, Jason, I've been listening to your podcast and have really been enjoying it. Thanks again for doing what you're doing. I have a question for you. I'm currently listening to episode 13, Quality is Management, and was wondering if you have or plan on making an episode regarding quality with regards to self-performed work. I'm working into an assistant superintendent role in my current project. It's a 345 megawatt solar farm, and we are self-performing almost all of it. I'm helping run our pile installation crew, and we are struggling when it comes to quality. And so he said, do you have an episode that you would recommend? And so I talk about quality throughout. There's a lot of podcasts, especially the ones that deal with Foreman and field engineers that talk about quality. But let me give you a couple of quick tips here. So the key things for self-perform, and this might sound silly, but first and foremost, remarkable company orientation days, where they go in and they get the orientation, the safety onboarding, they are onboarded to the culture, they get any associated testing for their skills, they're evaluated, they receive all needed safety training right then and there. I mean, even if it takes a day, 2 days, 3 days, they're ready to go. They get their safety gear, they get their PPE, they get their fit tests for their respirators, everything. And then they leave there with a competency card or a training card. They leave there with an evaluation form, a goal sheet that tells them what they need to do to move up into further positions, and any other identifications so that we know that they're new, what they're trained to do, and they're ready to go to work. So that's the first step, and a lot of people discount that. How you start with somebody in hiring is likely how they're going to continue, and we likely need to be a lot more selective in who we hire, because this is not a fake it till you make it kind of a deal when it comes to safety and quality. People have to be trained and know what they're doing. The other thing that I would strongly recommend, even if you just do it on a job site level, is to have progress tracking cards or training cards that show exactly what people are trained to do. So that if they're assigned to go assemble this type of deck formwork, you know from their little card that they're trained to do it. You also, and I used to work for Hensel Phelps where they had hard hats for the first 6 months that said, hey, they're new, that were red. And then anywhere from 6 months to 5 years, it was a white hard hat. Then anybody over 5 years, it was a gold hard hat. And it was called the Old Timers Club. And it was really neat to see the crew composition to make sure that they weren't all red hats, that there was somebody seasoned, oriented to the culture, and that there was a good mix. Because really it comes down to, is there, and I'll cover this in a minute, a great foreman who is training the crew with a good mix of people, journeymen and apprentices, and people that have been with the company for a while, and maybe some of the new folks that are being watched and helped and onboarded. And so we have to know what people are trained to do. We have to know if they're new or not to the company culture and to the company safety systems. The other thing is, we need to make sure that we have an evaluation system. We need to make sure that when it comes to time cards and hours and people showing up late or people not showing up at all or people failing or making mistakes, that there is an evaluation system that will hold people accountable in addition to the zero tolerance systems that we have on site. And when I talk about zero tolerance systems on site, I'm saying for safety, people are sent into a safe location, to a safe place, by going home or back to the office to get retrained or get on the same page with the company, set clear expectations, get their attitude in line. But the other thing is, from a zero tolerance standpoint, I would just make it clear that if it's wrong, we're ripping it out. Now, if you're doing caissons, piles, you're doing auger cast piers, maybe that's a little bit harder. But when it comes to concrete or self-perform, once everybody knows, hey, we're not going to accept defective work, it's going to come out, we need to have quality at the source. That really changes the name of the game. And I would immediately, even if it's just on a job site level, begin training on a bi-weekly basis on quality systems, on how to execute quality, on things like the stop, call, wait, which I'm about to explain, anything that those crews need to do to install good quality work. Here's how that's going to start. You create feature of work boards for the craft. And you went back, if I go back to what you said you're on a 345 megawatt solar farm. Okay, so there's probably a lot of repetitive work. So you can create visual with pictures and bullet points, visual feature of work boards for footings and stem walls and caissons and whatever you have out there, whatever kind of concrete construction or whatever kind of self-perform you're doing, there's no reason to not have 11 by 17 laminated feature of work boards that communicate how we expect things to be done in English and in Spanish, showing clearly visually what things should look like, and then review that every day for those crews in the morning and talk about what are they learning and are they implementing the right steps. So really it's about standard work, it's about standards, it's about setting clear expectations. And then if you have that, then it's all about communicating effectively and building a culture in the morning worker huddles. And so in that 5, 10, 15-minute morning worker huddle time period, I would be communicating safety for the day, quality expectations for the day, needs of the day, how to interact with the job site that day, and also do training for safety and quality. And I would give messages about quality at the source. We're going to rip out anything and replace it if it's wrong. I would talk to them about this culture of stop, call, wait. I would talk to them about this culture of accountability, of speaking up, of if it doesn't look right, smell right, feel right, or sound right, then we need to raise our hands and really take action to go do what needs to be done to fix it in the first place. I would talk about those concepts. I would teach everybody. I would get them onboarded into that culture, okay? And then I would very much engage the crew preparation huddles. And if you need help on this, I have other podcasts for the crew preparation huddles. I have blog posts for this that will help you out. It's really key that the crew takes time to fill out their pre-task plans. And I like pre-task plans that are on 11 by 17, where half of it is the pre-task plan, and the right side of it, there's a place for the craft or the foreman to draw. And on the one side, there's a safety pre-task plan, and on the back side, there's the quality pre-task plan. That's my preferred system. And when we do that, then everybody in those crew preparation huddles gets to use their feature of work boards for safety and quality and fill out their pre-task plans and draw visual pictures for the visual learners on their crews and make sure that they are clearly lining out their workers for the quality and safety expectations for the day, that they are 3S'ing their areas, they're talking about the 8 wastes, they are making sure that they're cleaning and sweeping and getting the right tools for their areas, that they're not going to have to do treasure hunts, and they're doing training and they're stretch and flex in the morning in that crew preparation huddle. That is absolutely key. And really, every worker should leave with a little list of things and expectations for the day, or really, really clear verbal communication. But I would rather see those feature of work boards in everybody's hand on the gang boxes everywhere. And then when there's a deviation every day in the crew preparation huddle, we can talk about it. We can have the person that did it talk about it and how he or she is going to get better without shaming and really make some progress there. So it's really all about crew control. And crew control comes down to the foreman. And so if I was going to do anything on your job, I would buy lunch a couple times a week or once a week and get those foremen in a room or in a huddle or somewhere with some pizza and some O'Douls. And I would say, hey, we're going to do training every week. We're going to do this. How can we improve quality? How can we train our people? Do we have the right crew composition? And on and on and on and on. The best foremen will have lists that they give the workers, and then those workers bring them back checked off at the end of the day. Everyone is lined out, and that foreman is teaching all day long. So one key indicator, if your foremen are working and they have their bags on, that's problem number one. You have to get their bags off and get them into a leadership position. The other thing is you might need to put them in task force, where you have the lead men and foremen in a meeting for 30 minutes or an hour before the workday starts to talk about and fix together as a group the quality issues. And the promise is the task force meetings end when the problems go away because we've helped each other and we've formed a task force. The other thing that I would say is that we need to make sure we're having remarkable in-wall checks or quality checks, check cards, or for concrete placement check cards, and make sure that we follow that system. Everything that we place should have a lift drawing. Everything that we place should have a pour check, a placement check card. And that placement check card isn't just done by the field engineer, it is checked by the foreman and oftentimes by the superintendent. In fact, if you really want to rein in quality, the superintendent will go out and do a check for those placement checks before you place concrete. And that really is the key, is getting full total participation from the project management team. Because what you need is a culture of stop, call, and wait. You teach all workers, everybody on your management team, everybody, if you see something wrong, if you hear something wrong, if you smell something wrong, if you taste something wrong, if you sense something wrong, if you feel something wrong, if you receive revelation that something's wrong, if you have a gut instinct, intuition that something is wrong, what do? You stop, you call somebody else, your team leader, your foreman, and you wait. What do? You stop, call, wait. What do you do if you smell something wrong? Stop, call, wait. See something wrong? Stop, call, wait. Over and over and over. And you teach them to de-incentivize production and to incentivize quality. And once you incentivize quality, you will be going slower, which is smoother, and smoother is fast, and fast gives you the production. So you're going to have to take a couple steps back and stop doing a lot of work fast that has to be ripped out or that has to be fixed. And so those are my suggestions to you who submitted this. And I love these questions. It's going to be fantastic, absolutely fantastic if you're able to implement this. If you want more detail, I can turn this into another podcast episode. One more thing from a listener. This was a positive comment, and he said, "Thanks for the reminder to like your show on iTunes. I needed to make an account. I will find it interesting what the personality test comes back as, because I was doing one. And this was in exchange for doing the player cards." And he said, "Every day Jason is pumping out great content focused on creating a great construction industry. He has real life experiences and stories to prove his topics and the points for the day. He is also extremely interactive with the listeners. This is a great podcast for anyone in construction, from the new laborer to the director." And I just want to say thank you for that. That's really kind. And I love the reviews. I also love the reviews that are coming back on Amazon for the book, Elevating Construction Superintendents. Man, that's going to be great. Oh, I've got some news. And maybe I'm going to jinx it, because on the ACX Audible website, it says that the book is headed to the Audible and iTunes platforms, meaning it's passed the quality checks. And so I'm really hoping that goes through within 5 to 10 days. I'm really hoping that audiobook, the Audible version, really does well for elevating construction superintendents. It's absolutely fantastic. And it's because it comes from the best industry builders that I've ever been around. So here's two more things before we get started into the podcast. What is changing in the industry? Well, here's what's changing. We have to be more attuned to dealing with emotions. I was talking to a really respected friend the other day, and he wasn't being callous about it. He just said, frankly, Jason, we've had to go through training that deals with being more diverse, being more understanding, and understanding things like microaggressions was the example that he gave me. And there are so many people, whether they're right or wrong. I'm not debating whether people are right or wrong. I'm just saying there's so many people that discount things like that, but it's a reality, meaning diversity, protected classes, being more sensitive, being able to communicate better, having emotional intelligence, understanding what microaggressions are, what unconscious biases are, all of these things. This industry is going to turn to where people just have to understand those things to survive. So I wanted to mention that. Here's some conflict for you today. You are attempting to fight emotion with logic. If you're dealing with an emotional person, you're going about it likely the wrong way. And so let me tell you a little bit of a story, and I've got some really good thought out, prepared, researched content here for you. So my life with Katie has, for her, probably been a nightmare. Actually, I know it's been somewhat of a nightmare, because if something happens and there's a disagreement, then I get my feelings hurt because I'm I'm really sensitive, and so I'll get my feelings hurt, get upset, and then she immediately starts explaining the reality of the situation, the truth about what's going on, And I'm like, why aren't you listening to me? I don't understand. Like, you're not being nice. You're not listening to me. And she's like, I'm explaining to you what happened. And I'm like, well, you're explaining it because you're not listening to me. And so it's logic, not listening, logic, not listening, logic, not listening. And finally, we get so tired of each other that we either have to like walk away, say a prayer or something, or what happens is Katie or I realize that we're just talking different languages because something happens. I get offended because I'm emotional, and that doesn't discount me or anybody else who might be emotional out there. She explains it, and I say, you're not listening. And all she's doing is just defending herself and appealing to logic, and I'm appealing to emotion, and it escalates. And it happens over and over and over and over again. And, it happens because I'm just talking about how I feel. And when I'm talking about how I feel, I don't want logic because it doesn't make any sense. I just want somebody to say, I can understand how that would hurt your feelings. I'm sorry. I'm upset that I've hurt your feelings, and just empathize a little bit with me and tell me, hey, that's hard, and validate my feelings. And that's really all I want. And it would just go away. But when somebody comes at me with logic, I go all crazy. Like I go full crazy on somebody. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I'm a perfect example of somebody who has been emotional in the past, and through lots and lots and lots of training, through professional development, have been able to get past it. And so now I see what was going on. And it still actually happens even though we have the tools. And so you'll also at the extreme get couples where, and actually I've done this before and I'm ashamed of it, where it's like, I feel like you're cheating on me. One spouse says, the emotional spouse says. The logical spouse says, well, that's not logical. I'm always here. I don't even like anybody else. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And really, the emotional feeling of, are you cheating on me, is coming from, you don't feel connected to that person, or they're distant, or you have feelings of insecurity or inferiority. And so your mind brings forward the worst fear that you have and puts it into the slots of those other fears and insecurities. And so in this case, most of the time it happens to be, are you cheating on me? And so the logical person is like, that's dumb. Like, you're dumb. I'm not validating you. And the emotional person just wants more connection, or it to be fixed, or to be validated, or to be made made to feel special, or to be empathized with. And so the logical person will get mad and be mad that they're not trusted, or that the other person is calling them a liar or whatever. And then it starts to spiral because neither of the people are really talking the same language. And the topic is so far-fetched, like for instance, are you cheating on me, that it's dismissed and the actual root cause of the problem is never fixed. And it's all based on fear, and it's all based on insecurity. That's why I go back to that song. Back up to the words. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. I know you're choking on your fears. I already told you I'm right here. I will stay by your side every night. I don't know why you hide from the one, close your eyes to the one, mess up and lie to the one that you love. When you know you can cry to the one, confide in the one, and be kind to the one that you love. And so I love those words. And that song deals primarily with relationships, but I'll tell you how it applies to work. So here we go. At work, and let me just tell you one little story here. Back when I was more emotional, I had this thing called the CDAA list, the can't do anything about list. And I think I've told you this before, but I used to write things on there like, I'm worthless, I can't do my job, or they think I'm horrible, and I am. And the owner was disappointed with me because I totally failed this thing. I'm probably going to tank this whole job. So this is horrible, garbage, fear-based thoughts, right? And somebody told you, heard about that, a trusted mentor, and was like, wait a minute, hold on. If you're going to have a list like that, you need to say what you're feeling and then reframe it to get clarity. And so I went from I'm worthless to, hey, I had a feeling that I was worthless today, and it's because of this, but really, I got this. And then pretty soon my CDAA list went to, I got this. And then pretty soon my CDAA list went to, I don't even have it anymore, because these fear-based, insecure-based thoughts weren't entering into my head. The reason I'm telling you this is because it used to be that something would bother me. I go fear-based. I assume the worst. I think the worst. I tell myself stupid stories about myself. I get upset, and my mind doesn't know what's real from what isn't. And so it reinforces those habit loops, those neural pathways, those neurological pathways, and they become memories, and they reinforce the habit. And only through Tony Robbins and Rapport Leadership International and books like The Courage to Be Disliked and these trainings and the book Unbeatable Mind and meditation and focus and affirmations and getting rid of the monkey mind, like Mark Divine says in his book Unbeatable Mind, and getting clarity on the situation. Only through these techniques over about like 4 or 5 years have I been able to get rid of this. And so here's the principle. And I want to explain the principle to you so that if you're dealing with an emotional person on the project site, and the reason I'm mentioning this is because more times than not, there's an emotional person on your project site and you don't know how to deal with them, especially on larger teams. So here's a little checklist of things that you should know. The demons are not real in somebody else's head if they're emotional and going a little crazy on you and coming to you from an emotional standpoint. The demons are not real and they make no sense. So stop trying to make sense of it. Stop being logical about it. Stop trying to explain it. No. Really, you're not listening to me. No, you logical people out there, you are not listening to me. Seriously, it has nothing to do with you, and it's completely illogical, and it's all based on feelings. Do not attempt to categorize chaos. Okay, that's number one. 80% of the demons go away when it's spoken out loud. So the person that's communicating is actually healing as he or she speaks these little mental demons, insecurities, fears. As they speak them, they're actually healing if they get some reciprocity, some reciprocation from a connection standpoint and an empathy standpoint. So when spoken out loud, that person needs 100% empathy and understanding, not logic. So you need to go there with that person emotionally and take it seriously and listen. Most of the time, speaking it out loud will let them get clarity. And clarity in this situation is the key to everything. Because if you can get clarity on it and reinforce that and calm down, then that memory, remember those neural pathways, that memory can put that in its place and reinforce proper perspectives and proper paradigms and proper context. Because remember, like I said, if you're watching an Aliens movie, which is a favorite of mine, like I was just walking around my new shed to the old one and it's a little bit dark, and like literally my mind is expecting an alien to pop out around the corner. You guys know that you've been there too, and you get a little scared. And then I'm closing the door, and you know how nothing's as scary as just the last 6 inches of closing the door, right? So I'm like jumping in my office here because I swear to you, there's a big alien that's going to come with their silvery gray, watery mouth teeth and their little snapper teeth out of the middle of their head and like bite me and kill me, right? It's because my mind doesn't know the difference between a real memory and a fake one. It's neurologically proven that that's how your brain works. And so you have to reinforce situations, even if they're in their head, you have to get the context, the clarity switched to where you have the right paradigm. And so as such, with emotional people, you have to pull him or her out of his or her funk. And I'm just going to say him from now on. It can apply to guys or girls, and make him feel okay about these issues and get clarity. And his progress is radical transparency. So that's the first step, and vulnerability. And then you not shaming them for having those demons, but empathizing and then getting clarity on them. If you handle them incorrectly and get mad or shame them, then he will say, oh, I'm just crazy. I don't deserve you. I'm a burden. We're not compatible. I don't fit into this team. Nobody loves me. I just don't fit in. Nobody cares that I'm here. I don't feel like I'm making progress. You deserve somebody else. I'm not lovable. I can't change. I'm cursed. You're going to leave me. You're going to fire me. I'm not good enough. I'm ashamed. I'm so emotional. I don't deserve to have these feelings. I'm sorry. Just on and on and on. But if the person is transparent, speaks this out loud, and you say, yeah, I can go there with you. Yeah, that's tough. I'm feeling it in a very serious and sincere way, and say, I appreciate where you're coming from. Could it be this? And help them get to a clear situation, but make sure that they feel listened to first. Most of the time you can pull them out, and then over time they can get better. Now, if you're like, I'm not a therapist, and I'm not here to take care of all of my team's problems. Hey, like, all good, more power to you. You can, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing if you do. You can throw them away, you can fire them, you can not spend time with them. One mentor of mine just said, hey, Jason, I can't help you get through this. You're going to have to figure this out. And so that's when I went out and started getting training like from Tony Robbins and other people and mentors and coaches. And so maybe they'll do the same thing. But I do want you to know, at least if you want to deal with this, how to deal with this. And this can help you with your relationships, and it can help you with people that are emotional at work, because the current condition is people don't know how to deal with emotional people, and emotional people can get thrown away, or problems start up, or there's just garbage arguments and situations are hard and relationships are lost. And my challenge to you is, if you can explore it a little, go there with them, empathize, listen, not shame them, not get angry, and help them to get clarity and try and see it from a different angle and realize in the moment, hey, I'm coming at this from logic, not emotions. I don't even understand emotions, but I can at least listen. And if you can start to do that, and I give you that challenge, then you can make some progress with these folks, because most of the time, just going back to the song, people have been hurt, right? So let me go back to these words. I don't want to leave, but if you're going to fight, then do it for me. I know you're built to love, but you're broken now, so just try. I know you're choking on your fears. Already told you I'm right here, and that goes on in the song. So people are broken, either from their parents or relationships or experiences when they're young or bullying or whatever. A lot of us are broken, and we have to get fixed. And so if you can know how to fix it, maybe you don't fix it yourself. Maybe you send them somewhere. Personally, anybody that's broken needs to at least first go to Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within. Or it's a date with destiny. Cost some money? Don't care. Go take out a loan, put it on a credit card. If you're emotionally broken like this, you need to go get it figured out now. If you're seriously, clinically, emotionally broken or depressed or anything like that, and if you have clinical issues, you need to go seek help, get help from a psychologist, a psychiatrist, professionals when dealing with this. But if it's just gentle emotionalness, I guess, then you can try coaches. You have to get somebody who knows how to get you out, get a coach, get some help. So the vision for this, everybody, is that you have some more tools in your tool belt. And I'm hoping that you're like, whoa, J Money, hook me up. I'm dealing with like all these crazy people in my life. Now I know how to deal with it. So one more time, the demons are not real and make no sense. Seriously, it has nothing to do with you, and it's completely illogical. Stop trying to understand this with logic. 80% of the demons go away when it's spoken out loud. You have to go there with them, empathize, and listen, and then help them get clarity. Seriously, people, do not try to categorize chaos. Just go with them and deal with it on an emotional level, listen, and help them get clarity. I hope this helps. I hope that you can be a help and a blessing to somebody who might be emotional or struggling emotionally. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.